The fire is small. Just enough to push back the cold of a Jerusalem night in early spring. Peter is crouching near it, hands extended toward the flame, trying to look like a man who belongs there, in the courtyard of the high priest, surrounded by servants and soldiers, in the middle of a trial that is happening just inside those walls. He does not belong there. He knows it. And he is about to prove it. A servant girl looks at him across the fire. She says, "This man was with him." Peter says, "Woman, I do not know him." A little later, someone else looks at him. Same accusation. Same answer. An hour passes. A third person speaks, and this one is more certain. Surely this man was with him. He is a Galilean. You can hear it in his voice. Peter says, "Man, I do not know what you are talking about." And immediately, while he is still speaking, the rooster crows. Matthew records this. Mark records this. John records this. All four Gospels carry the sound of that rooster into the early morning air of that courtyard, and all four record that Peter remembered. Jesus had said, before the night began, before the arrest, before any of this, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. And Peter wept. 3 Gospels end the scene there. The rooster. The memory. The tears. It is already devastating. You do not need anything else to feel the full weight of what just happened. A man who swore he would die before he denied Jesus, who drew a sword in a garden to prove it, who cut off a soldier ear rather than let them take his rabbi. This man just said 3 times, to a servant girl, to strangers, by a fire, "I do not know him." But Luke adds one sentence. One sentence that Matthew doesn't have. That Mark doesn't have. That John doesn't have. Luke 22 verse 61. Right between the rooster and the tears. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Stay with me, because you need to understand where Jesus is when this happens. He is inside. He has been arrested in the garden, bound, marched through the city to the house of the high priest. He has been blindfolded. He has been struck. He is in the middle of a trial that has been assembled in the middle of the night specifically because the people running it did not want to do this in daylight, in front of crowds. He is not free to move. He is not standing at a window watching. He is bound, in custody, being led from one part of the proceedings to another, and Luke places the fire in the middle of the courtyard, open, visible, the place where the servants have gathered against the cold. Which means at some point, being led past, Jesus has a clear line of sight to the fire. And he turns. The Greek word Luke uses is emblepō. It does not mean a glance. It does not mean he happened to look in that direction. Emblepō means to fix your eyes upon someone, to look directly into them, to see through the surface of a thing to what is underneath. It is the same word used when Jesus looked at the rich young ruler and loved him. It is the same word used the first time Jesus ever saw Peter, when he looked at him across a boat and said, "You will be called the Rock." He is blindfolded, bound, mid-trial, being struck by the guards. And he turns and finds Peter's face across a courtyard. Not to accuse. If the look had been accusation, Peter would not have gone back. He would have done what Judas did, taken the guilt in one direction only, with no return. But Peter goes back. Peter is in the upper room on Resurrection Sunday. Peter runs to the empty tomb. Peter is the one Jesus finds on a beach after the resurrection and asks, 3 times, once for every denial, "Do you love me?" The look was not accusation. Here is what most people miss. Luke's Gospel is widely understood by historians to have been written using eyewitness testimony gathered directly from those who were present. And the church historian Eusebius of Caesarea, writing in the 4th century, records that the Gospel of Mark carries the testimony of Peter himself, that Mark was essentially Peter's secretary, recording what Peter preached and remembered. Peter told this story himself. He included the look. He chose to preserve it, to preach it, to make sure it survived him. Of everything that happened that night, the arrest, the trial, the fire, the rooster, Peter held on to the moment Jesus turned and found his face. Because that look was the thing that brought him back. You have probably denied something you believed in. Not in a courtyard, not by a fire, not with soldiers watching, but in a meeting room, or at a dinner table, or in a conversation where it would have cost you something to say what you actually thought, and so you said something else, or nothing at all, and the moment passed, and you have not forgotten it. Peter's story is not about failure. It is about what Jesus does in the middle of his own worst night, bound, struck, abandoned, and still turns to find the face of the person who just failed him. Not to condemn. Not to calculate. Just to look. And the look was enough to bring a broken man all the way back.